Kentucky Senator, Senate Foreign Relations Committee member, and Senate Homeland and Governmental Affairs Committee member Rand Paul joins me right now. And Senator, it's great to see you this morning. I want to congratulate you and thank you for holding people to account. You recently held Dr. Anthony Fauci to account with a fiery back and forth on the funding of gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute. Let's take a look back at that hearing.
Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute.
And in fact, Senator, he is walking that back, as you know now, in fact, admitting that, oh, yes, we did send money to the Wuhan lab of virology. Your reaction to what's taken place in the last 48 hours as the walls close in on Dr. Fauci?
I think it's pretty extraordinary. You know, Dr. Fauci for at least a year has been discounting the theory that this came from the lab. But you have to ask, is there a conflict of interest? He was in favor of, and still is in favor of, funding Chinese scientists. The people that he gave the money to at EcoHealth, this Peter Daszak, he's self-interested also. He doesn't want there to be any kind of truth that comes out that this came from the lab. Do I know for certain it came from the lab? No. But they've been downplaying and discounting this and not wanting to investigate it because guess what? It boomerangs on them. All of their, pretentiousness about taking care of us in the pandemic, what if it turns out that we were funding the lab where this pandemic originated? This is a huge blight on the career of Dr. Fauci, but it shows that he will do anything to try to deflect blame.
So, Senator, did he commit perjury right there, lying to you?
I think what he's doing is playing word games. So he keeps saying, he acts like, and the public perceives that no money went to the lab. And then he says, oh, well, money went to the lab, but it wasn't for gain of function. But here's the thing. We have scientists who have looked at the research, who have looked at the application for the research. They say the application to the NIH for research included gain of function. The paper that talked about taking the SARS virus with a 15% mortality and putting new S proteins on it to make it infect human cells better, that is gain of function. And when Dr. Shi, the doctor from Wuhan Institute, published her paper, she said, thanks, Dr. Fauci, and she listed the NIH grant number for the money she got from Dr. Fauci. And most scientists that are looking at that paper say, yes, that was gain of function. So he has some explaining to do, and he needs to do it under oath, but he needs not to be part of any investigation. He should be outside the loop. So should the other guy who was funneling the money to Wuhan. You can't be investigating it if you're the one that directed the money there because it's a conflict of interest. You will not want to uncover anything that might make you look culpable.
Well, what about the culpability of the Chinese Communist Party, Senator? I mean, look, the walls are truly closing in here. We had a reporter out of Australia 2 weeks ago report that she has records of conversations taking place among CCP members where they discussed weaponizing a SARS coronavirus, using it as a weapon 5 years before the pandemic showed up. And then, of course, you've got this report from the House intelligence agencies talking about the potential of weaponizing this. Was this a bioweapon?
Perhaps.
From China?
I don't think we're ever going to know, and I don't even think we know that it was on purpose. But even if it was accidental, we should know, and they should have tried to help the world with this. But this is a bigger debate than just China. We have 11 labs in the United States doing this gain-of-function research, where they take an animal virus and they make it more infective into humans. I'm not alone in worrying about this. There are scientists in this field. A few years ago, 200 of them signed a letter saying we should stop gain-of-function research. It was stopped temporarily, but guess who started it up again? Dr. Fauci. And Dr. Fauci started giving exemptions. So Dr. Fauci's hands and his fingerprints are all over all this gain-of-function research. He said repeatedly in the past he favors this research. But then he comes to Congress and says, oh, no, I'm not in favor of ever doing this. He's on record with an interview with the Washington Post saying he's in favor of gain-of-function research. We should not be creating super viruses. It's crazy to have this in the lab.
All right, let me.
We can. Go ahead.
Yep. I want to turn to the courage that you constantly and consistently exhibit and the leadership. You continue to come out holding people's feet to the fire and making sure that the audiences and the communities understand where the truth lies. And you get attacked for it over and over again. From your neighbor to the crowds in Washington that you and your wife had to deal with, to now a suspicious package that arrived at your home in Kentucky. I want to bring in your wife. Kelley Paul is with us as well this morning. Senator Paul and Kelley Paul, we appreciate you joining us to talk about what has become incredibly personal to you both. You saw a package, you received a package at your home containing white powder that was later deemed harmless, but there was a photo of a bruised and bandaged picture of you, Senator, with a gun to your head, threatening violence. Kelley, let me bring you in before I get the senator's comment here. How did you feel when you got this package? Can you tell us what happened?
Hi, Maria. Well, I was scared, obviously. It's a terrible feeling. Your heart just sort of drops. It was a sunny Monday afternoon, and I walked to my mailbox, and I had a quite big stack of mail, and I was standing in my front yard. So thank goodness I really wasn't in the house. I never brought the letter into the house. I was standing sort of right up to my front steps, and I started shuffling through the mail, and I look down and I see this horrible image of a wounded Rand, a doctored image with a gun against his head. And I look down and it says, you know, I'm going to finish what the other guy started, you MFer. And I just, you know, froze and was disgusted. And so I went to sort of throw the letter down. I didn't open it. But as I did, I could feel something that sounded like sand, like a weighty substance. I could feel it moving in the letter. So I ran inside. I washed my hands. Of course, I was terrified. You know, you think of anthrax. You think of the, you know, the poisonings that happened years ago when people sent poisons in the mail, ricin or anthrax. Immediately called Rand, the FBI, the sheriffs, and, you know, everyone's telling me, you know, take off all your clothes because I had been holding the mail up against my chest, get in the shower. So I had, you know, several hours before I found out that it was non-toxic, thinking that I might have been poisoned. You know, I had someone from the FBI saying, you know, are you having any shortness of breath? You know, there are lethal poisons. It was very thin paper. So I'm thinking, have I absorbed something through my hands? It was really a terrifying day, and it's pure terrorism. People are just trying to terrorize us into silence, you know, for being a public servant.
Yeah, that's right. And Senator, it's not the first time you got beaten up by your next door neighbor at one point, and then you both were crowded and smushed together by crowds after the Republican National Convention when you had
Maria,
demonstrators surrounding and chasing.
I think it's important. There wasn't an altercation or a fight with the person that assaulted me. I was hit from behind by somebody running full blast down a hill. Never was aware of who hit me or what hit me. Had 6 ribs broken, my lung damaged, and part of my lung removed. But here's the point. We have people on the left who think it's just hilarious. Stephen Colbert thinks it's great to make fun of the injuries I had. I had 6 broken ribs, a damaged lung, part of my lung removed. And so when Colbert and all these other people think they're so funny and they get everybody on the internet all ginned up, guess what? They encourage crazy people across the country. CNN puts my house on Google Map on television, tells everybody where I live. So this has got to stop. But the left thinks it's just hilarious what happened to me, and they encourage other people to do it. That's the whole meme on the internet. All these people just think it's hilarious. Come and finish the job. Oh, that's really funny. I almost died, and they think it's really funny, and they want to do it again. Twitter doesn't do a damn thing. I finally talked to them, and they took this one down. But was the guy punished? No, the guy that keeps saying this, we got the white powder the day after some has-been songwriter, you know, encouraged people to come over and finish the job, and says he's going to buy drinks for anybody that'll come and assault me again. There was no fight. I was hit from behind from a man running full speed. If you've seen the images of that Vietnamese guy that was killed, the elderly man that was killed, the reason I wasn't killed is because I was younger and I was on grass, not concrete. but the guy was running full speed and hit me from behind. It was not a fight. And it's important that people understand how terrible this was and how terrible the injuries were, because the left just keeps going on and on like, oh, this is so funny. Somebody on MSNBC said it's the funniest thing she heard of the whole year.
And Maria, yeah,
Terrible.
exactly. An MSNBC reporter.
I know it wasn't a fight. I know that. Yeah.
Maria.
Go ahead, Kelley.
I just also wanted to say, media has misrepresented this from the beginning. Before that man assaulted Rand, he had disgusting things on his Facebook, graphic, horrible things that he wanted to do to President Trump. He was a politically motivated person. He admitted to the police and to the courts that he had never spoken to Rand in over 10 years, never complained to us about anything. His lawyer then tells the media, oh, it was a yard altercation. And the media took his lawyer's words to them as fact, completely ignoring the fact that this man was a vocal internet hater of Trump, of the GOP, and had never spoken to us, and we'd had no problems with this person in 20 years of living 3 acres away from him.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing's being done, Senator Paul. I mean, what's being done for you and your family? I mean, here we have Nancy Pelosi talking about the barbed wire around the Capitol, about a commission. No one's focused on what actually happened to you, that you broke. You had 6 ribs broken. It's absolutely outrageous.
Yeah. Not one Democrat came up to me since I've been back and said, I'm sorry that you're having to deal with having white powder set in an envelope to you. Not one. Not one of them, I don't think, ever said they were sorry for me being assaulted by someone and having 6 ribs broken and nearly dying and having my lung removed. Not one of them. So people say, oh, it's all Trump's fault. Well, guess what? The left shot at me at the ballpark. The left attacked me at my house. A mob attacked me in D.C. Something's got to give, and the left needs to quit fomenting this, and the comedians need to say, this isn't funny, this is serious.
Exactly. And no comments about the commentary on the left about riling people up. Senator Rand Paul, thanks for your leadership. And Kelley, thank you as well. We're sorry that you've been dealing with this. Senator Rand Paul and Kelley Paul. We'll be right back.